him. He smiled at the small bodies swarming around his legs, the dark heads dipping like pigeons at the sack as a tangle of nimble fingers sifted and grabbed at the offerings it held. When the last piece of food had been stuffed into the very last mouth, the children nodded gratefully and left as quickly as they had come. "Goodbye, Brother Anselm," they called back as they scampered across the frosted meadow. "See you tomorrow." He smiled and waved until they disappeared into the mist, and was about to turn his back on the gate for a second time, when he heard a whistle and a voice. "Nice arse." It was a girl's voice, several girls' voices in fact, coming from somewhere up the lane. He turned around and froze, a familiar terror thumping in his ears as the pack sauntered down the track toward him. He knew all of them by sight, but only one by name, Martha, the one who always made him catch his breath. walk on," he pleaded, pulling his cowl down low over his face to hide his blushes. But it was too late. Like the she-wolves they were, they had already scented the blood. They stopped in front of him, just as he had feared they would, standing so close that his nostrils twitched with their scent, and his skin burned with the proximity. "Come skating with us, brother?" they asked, mocking him with their eyes, bending their wicked bodies toward him. But Brother Anselm shied away, refusing to look at them. "Go away! In God's name, go away!" he cried, screwing his eyes shut tight, hoping that if he closed them long enough, when he opened them again they would have vanished. "What was that, brother? Did you say something?" one of the girls asked, tossing her hair in his face like a spirited pony so that the ends scoured his cheek. "Oh, look, bless him," she said, turning to the others. "He's blushing, poor love, look." More giggling, then another voice. "River's turned hard too, see?" The giggling became raucous, and for the first time in his young life, Brother Anselm knew how it felt to want to die and to hate. "Leave him alone." God be praised! A merciful voice at last. He opened his eyes and immediately wished he hadn't. Martha was standing in front of him. His stomach lurched at the sight of her, and he blushed again, knowing that tonight his memories would drive him to those unquiet, sleep-defeating thoughts of which he was so deeply ashamed. "I'm sorry," the merciful voice again, but not Martha's. Instead it belonged to the girl beside her, whose name he didn't know, but whom he recognized as the local Reeves' daughter. He looked from one to the other and back again, but just when he felt his legs beginning to crumple, the deliverance he had been praying for came in a sudden roar and rush of wings. A skein of geese, flying in low from the east, landed on the frozen fish pond in a succession of clumsy thuds, which startled the girls and sent them laughing and shrieking toward the river. "Goodbye, brother! See you on the ice!" they called. But Brother Anselm was already scampering up the path toward the sanctuary of the cathedral. The girls were still laughing when halfway to the river they saw the riders on the horizon and stopped abruptly. "Run!" Louisa hissed, even though they already were. Just as they knew not to venture into the marsh at night, or get too close to a bittern's nest, or skate on the river where the ice was thin, they knew to run from the bishop's men. Since his investiture, their new bishop, William Longchamp, had brought great wickedness to the diocese. Witchcraft was suspected. How else, everybody wondered, could the king have conferred such power upon such misshapen shoulders? How could such a gargoyle of a man, who had risen without trace from the gutters of Argenton, have been awarded 3 titles: Chancellor, Chief Justiciar, and Bishop of Ely?